everybody, Erica Serwin here from Pink Buckaroo Designs. I've got one more Measure of Love project for you. It's a little treat box. And inside, let me show you the deliciousness that is inside. Have you seen these? They are the Hershey's Cookies and Cream cupcakes. They also come in Reese's flavored. I found them at Walmart and they are delicious. I thought that this was a really good treat for somebody. So I'm going to show you how I did that tag in the front as well as how to make the box. Now all the measurements for everything is going to be over on my blog. So make sure that you click the link here on YouTube to follow it back over to my blog. You'll also find some other projects using this stamp set if you love it. All right, so let's make the box first. You're going to need your Simply Scored and a piece of polished pink cardstock that is 7 1/4 by 9 3/4. And we're going to score it the long side at 1/2 inch, 3 1/2, 5 1/8, and 8 1/8. Then turn it, and on the short side, score it at 1 5/8, and then turn it and score it at 1 5/8 again on the other side. Now you want to grab your bone folder and burnish all those lines really well. This is going to make your cardstock really nice and crisp, and your box will go together really, really well. Okay, so now grab your scissors, and the first thing that we're going to do along the long side is cut all of these score lines. Okay. Now when you get down here to the skinny one, you're going to actually cut it off. Now come back to these squares and cut them at an angle. They don't have to be perfect. This is just going to help your box go together a little bit better. All right, now flip it, and we're going to do the same thing to each of the squares. You want to cut those corners off. And then again down here. And let me get that straight. There we go. All right, so now this is what your piece looks like. I think it actually, when we scored it, we started over here. Now these two tabs right here, we're going to cut them so that they match this tab. Don't worry about it being perfect. This is just a tab that's going to be tucked into the box. Okay, now I'm going to switch to my smaller scissors. You're going to cut the corners off of these tabs. Okay, and one more. Okay, there we go. Now before we put this box together, I'm going to put all the side pieces on. That's going to make it a little bit easier. I am using Granny Apple Green cardstock, or designer series paper, and basic white cardstock mats. And I'm just going to layer all of these together. And then put this Granny Apple Green cards or designer series paper on here. The DSP is from the Brights paper stack. Has sheets of every one of our Brights colors. They also come in our subtles, our neutrals, and our regals. I really like the Granny Apple Green and polished pink together. I think they're a fun, bright color combo. Okay, now we're going to put one here, 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 and over here. So I'm going to layer these on. There's that one. The short ones go over here on the sides. long ones on the front and the back. Now you can do this after you put your box together. I just find it's a little bit easier to stick them on like that. That one looks a little bit crooked, but we're going to go with it. All right, now I'm going to switch to Tombow liquid glue because that's what I like to use to hold my boxes together. I'm also grabbing a few of these little mini clothespins. These are from the Dollar Tree. You can get them pretty much anywhere, and I like to use them to hold my boxes together while they are drying. So I'm going to put Tombow on the outside of all 4 of these squares. And then I'm going to fold up the ends to match the sides, like that. All right, so just like that. And we want to take those clothespins and have them hold that box down. All right, while we're waiting for it to dry, let's stamp our super cute scale and bowl. Now, if you have trouble lining up your stamps, get out your Stamparatus and use that. That will work really well for this. I'm stamping the scale here on the bottom of a scalloped, whoops, my stamp came off, so let's get it lined back up. A scalloped stitched rectangle from the Stitched So Sweetly dies. There we go. Now we're going to put the cute little cherries on the inside. Actually, let's do the little hearts right along there. Polished pink to match our box. The little cherries or hearts there in the top, like that. And then we'll grab Granny Apple Green for these stems. Gonna go right there at the top. Now I'm also gonna stamp it again here on a small piece of white because I'm gonna punch out that middle part and we're gonna pop it up onto this piece just to add a little bit of dimension. It comes with a cute little arm for your scale. So I'm gonna stamp that right there. Okay, now if you have a 1 1/4 inch circle punch, it will punch this out perfectly. If not, you can hand cut it. All right, let's color our scale. I'm gonna use Polished Pink. And I'm gonna start with Polished Pink Light. And I'm just gonna give this, I'm gonna work on the top section first and then move down to the bottom section. So go across with your light. Okay, and then I'm gonna go with my dark and add some dark around the bottom, like that. Okay, I'm gonna drag that color up, blend it up. I'm gonna put some dark here underneath, and then I'm gonna get my light, and I'm very carefully gonna go around. And actually, it doesn't matter if you color over that scale part because we're gonna cover it up with our punched piece. So go all the way around. And then grab your dark, and I'm going to switch over to the bullet tip end. And I'm going to go around the outside of that circle with dark. I'm adding a shadow. I know it looks messy, but as soon as we put that scale circle there, it will not look messy anymore. There we go. I'm going to take one of our little matte black dots and put right there in the middle of our scale to hold that. Now for the sentiment, I'm going to stamp it in Stays On. Stays On is good for vellum, and that's what I'm stamping it on. It will dry pretty quickly, and it won't smear like our Memento. Now grab your Simply Scored again, and we're going to put this on here, and we're going to figure out exactly where we need to fold it. So center it, and then we're going to add a score line on either side. Okay, so one there and one there. And we're going to wrap this around the back of our piece, of our scalloped piece or scalloped rectangle. Okay, I'm going to put some adhesive on the back here. And we're going to wrap it around. You can decide where you want it. And it kind of pops up a little bit. See that? Can you see how that is? I really like the way that looks. Okay, now I'm going to put some dimensionals up here, and this is going to kind of hold it on as well. See how that one's already popped open. So I'll just put a dimensional on top, and then some down here. Okay, now let's go back to our box. I'm pretty sure it's dry now. Put our cupcake in there, fold down our little tabs to the inside, grab your ribbon, and this is the polished pink ribbon, of course, to match our box. And we're going to tie that here on the side. Our box will stay closed without the ribbon, but I just like the way the ribbon looks, so of course we've got to add some ribbon. All right, now come back to our dimensionals. And we're going to sandwich that ribbon in right there, and it should fit perfectly. And there you have it, a nice little treat box for a friend or coworker or neighbor. And I think it's really cute. And I think anybody would appreciate it. All right, hop back over to my blog to grab those measurements and the supply list, and I hope you'll make one of your own. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.